राइट, तो चलो डिस्कस करते हैं दी एमसीक्यूज विच आर देयर इन दी सजेस्टेड जैन 25 फॉर इंटर ऑडिट. ओके राइट, तो जितना हम एमसीक्यू का ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस करेंगे उतना हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस और स्किल सेट शार्पन होगा फॉर गेटिंग मोर मार्क्स इन दी एमसीक्यू इन द एग्जाम. ओके राइट, तो केस सिनेरियो 1, और फिर जब हम थोड़ा एमसीक्यू देखते हैं और उसके बाद जब हम फिर से थियोरी पढ़ने लगते हैं तो एक थियोरी को देखने का आउटलुक भी चेंज हो जाता है, क्योंकि माइंड जनरेट करता है कि हाँ देखो इसका ये ऐसा एमसीक्यू बन सकता है, या इसका मैंने ये इस टॉपिक के रिलेटेड ऐसा वाला एमसीक्यू मैंने देखा था. तो एक गाइडलाइन मिलता है कि थियोरी को भी कैसे अप्रोच करें, कि जब थियोरी का पढ़ाई करते हैं तो उसमें भी हमने एमसीक्यू के ऊपर कैसे नजर रखनी चाहिए, ये भी अपने दिमाग में एक प्रोसीजर स्टार्ट हो जाता है. Okay, right. So PKH and Associates, a CA firm, is practicing in Mumbai since last 2 decades. Rahul got the opportunity to work as an article clerk with PKH and Associates. After completion of formalities of article clerk registration, Rahul is placed in the stat audit team of the firm. Okay, CAP, the partner heading audit team, planned to take Rahul in the audit work of Fox India Limited for 24. Till last year, K was the head of the audit team for audit of Fox India Limited. As it is the first engagement of Rahul, he was instructed by the partner to go through the audit file of Fox India Limited for 23 and familiarize himself with audit procedure and methodology to be followed for the upcoming audit assignment. On going through the audit file for 23, Rahul found revised engagement letter, other working papers related to MAT, deferred tax calculation, and the following extract on the verification of expenses. Name of concern: financial year, prepared by, reviewed by, approved by. Okay, serial number, nature of procedure, extent of check, basis of sample, done by. Right, so vouch few expense invoices available in record of concern. 10% random sampling. Trace these invoices into the accounts book of the concern. Verify few invoices with the GST data of the concern. Rahul immediately drafted a revised engagement letter for the year 24 and also specified the scope of audit to be included in the financial statement. Okay, reliability and sufficiency of financial information, proper disclosure of financial information, responsibility of an auditor to prepare financial statements. Coverage of all aspects of the entity relevant to the financial statements being audited. He thought that it is mandatory to obtain engagement letter every year and handed over the revised draft to CAP. CAP is surprised as to why Rahul drafted the same and explained him the situations under which it is necessary to obtain a revised engagement letter. Right? We talk about the miscircumstances, 7 changes and 1 misunderstanding. Okay. Before finalizing the audit report of Fox India for 24, Rahul performed the following procedures regarding subsequent events. Obtained an understanding of the procedures established by the company to ensure that subsequent events are identified. So understand, make inquiries of the management, inquire management of the company as to whether any subsequent events have occurred which affects the financial statements as on 24. So whether any subsequent events have occurred, made inquiry of the management. Wonderful. Okay. Read the entity's subsequent interim financial statements. So you read the latest, so that's wonderful. Read the minutes of the meeting of Fox India Limited that have been held up to 31st of March. Reading up to 31st of March, how can that give you information regarding subsequent events? No, it cannot give you the information regarding the subsequent events. Okay. Which of the following would not form part of the explanation given by CAP to Rahul? Right? So circumstances which warrant the auditor to change the term of, to issue a new engagement letter. We say 7 changes and 1 misunderstanding. Right? So we talk about the 7 changes and 1 misunderstanding. What are the 7 changes? We say change in the management, change in the ownership, change in the nature and size of entity business, change in AFR, change in reporting requirement, change in the legal regulatory requirement, any change in the terms of the engagement, or where there is any misunderstanding with the client as to the terms of engagement. So which of the following would not form part of the explanation? Change in management? Yes. Change in nature and size of entity business? Yes. Change in legal regulatory requirement? Yes. Replacement of CAK by CAP? No. That is not the circumstances for issuing a new engagement letter in case of the recurring audit. Okay. Which of the following statement included by Rahul in revised draft engagement letter is incorrect? Statement 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Right. So statement 1, reliability and sufficiency of financial information included in the scope of audit. Yes. Proper disclosure of financial information included. Responsibility of an auditor to prepare financial statements. No. Statement 3, not right. And statement 3, not right. So what it says, which of the following statement included by Rahul in the engagement letter is incorrect? Right? So statement 3 is incorrect. Okay. Right. How will you categorize the information pertaining to 22-23 in relation to the extract found? The same was a part of audit plan, audit program, audit guideline, audit procedure. We have not studied anything called as audit guideline. So is it audit plan, audit program, or audit procedure? What does it say? What work is to be done? By whom is it to be done? And they have not mentioned over here by when is it to be done, but they have given the details of when it is prepared and reviewed. Right. So obviously it's a set of instructions given to the members of the engagement team. So this is what we call it as an audit program. Okay. Which of the audit procedure performed before finalizing the audit report of Fox India by Rahul is not as per SA 560? क्या मजा आता है? They always are asking the exceptions question. Cannot as per 560. What is incorrect? Here they are asking what is not a part of the explanation. So what should be there that should be so strong in your content? You know, what should be there, what is to be included. Your content part should be so strong so that you can eliminate these very easily. Okay, so subsequent events, which is the audit procedure. Understand, yes. Make inquiries of the management, yes. Read the latest interim financial statements, yes. Read the minutes of the meeting also, yes. But read the minutes of the meeting after the balance sheet date, after date of financial statements. Here they say that have been held up to 31st of March. So that is the problem, right? So up to 31st of March, because that can't give you information regarding the subsequent events. So which is not as per SA 560, it is procedure number 4. Okay. Right. Case scenario 2. CAF has been appointed as an auditor of a manufacturing entity. Pursuant to appointment, CAF planned to assess the RMM. During this process, CAF observed that entity has identified various control to mitigate the risk. Okay. The entity has identified various control. The entity has implemented a control named Target, whose objective is to ensure that production systems are processed to meet the financial reporting objective. So what is the objective of this particular control? Production systems are processed to meet the financial reporting objective. So production system, that means where your data is being processed. So that is the data center and the network operation control. In school days, when you were writing your exams in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and so much of maths, the following, fill in the blanks, true or false, you would have done. So this is just, the outcome of that. I always say, when I look back at my, education over there, I always think, till 10th standard, I knew already when I came into the CA course how to study. Like how to study, how to prepare for an exam, how to do the revisions and everything. How to study, that I already knew. So when I came into the CA course, once what was given to me was what to study, I could do it all in the first attempt. Like foundation, inter, final. At my times, it was P1, P2 and final. So now if I go look into it कि ऐसा कैसे कि स्टूडेंट्स को लगता है कि सिलेबस इतना वॉल्यूमिनस है और फिर अभी ये इतना रिवीजन करना होता है और स्ट्रैटेजी, स्मार्ट प्लानिंग एंड इफेक्टिव प्लानिंग एंड हार्ड वर्क इज टू बी डन. तो फिर मेरा एक आई वाज एबल टू ड्रॉ दिस पर्टिकुलर वर्डिक्ट कि हाउ टू स्टडी ये मुझे ऑलरेडी आता था. बस मुझे कंटेंट दे दो तो देन आई कुड अप्लाई वॉट एवर स्किल्स आई हैड फॉर माई स्टडीज इन डूइंग माई CA कोर्स. राइट. तो ऑलवेज देन एक बार आपको कैसे पढ़ना है ये टैक्ट डेवलप आ गया तो फिर let it be any subject, let it be MBBS, doctor, engineer, like anything, doctor, engineering, CA or anything. Once you have the tact, have the the knack of it, once you have the liking, liking towards it, then you can certainly study well. Okay, right. So anyways, let's come to the discussion. On completion of the risk assessment procedure, CAF was wondering as to how he can verify the existence of related party relationship transaction. तो SA 315 से गाड़ी मुड़ चुकी है to SA 550. So he consulted one of his colleagues, CAZ, who suggested following ways to identify the same. Information supplied by the entity to the regulatory authority. I. Income tax return, section 40A to B. Inventory records maintained the entity, though it is I, but it is irrelevant. Life insurance policy, yes, that will tell you about the KMP, the key managerial personnel. So this is no, the consultation went wrong over here. Inventory records maintained by the entity. Okay, अब आगे आते हैं. To the financial statement provided by the entity, CAF observed that the entity has significantly borrowed the amount during the financial year 24. CAF wanted to ensure that all the borrowings on the balance sheet date represent valid claims by banks or other third parties. Accordingly, he performed the following procedure. Reviewed subsequent transactions after the end of the reporting period, recomputed the interest on borrowing, reviewed the board minutes for the approval of the new lending agreement, agree the loan balance and the loan payable to the loan agreement, right? So these are the procedures performed for checking the borrowings. Okay, CAF. So then the vehicle, first it went to risk assessment, then it came to related party audit evidence, then it came to items of financial statement, and now it says analytical procedure. CAF decided to perform analytical procedure to obtain evidence as to overall reasonableness of purchase quantity and price. For this, CAF scrutinized raw material consumed as per manufacturing account and compared the same with the previous year's stock. The variations observed were discussed with the management of the entity. Okay, right? So analytical procedures for purchases, wholesale question, theory question asked in the exams at least 3 to 4 times. Now that same theory question in Jan 25, they've converted it into an MCQ. Okay, so control target will be categorized in which of the following? So whether the production system is able to meet the financial reporting objectives, so whatever data is being managed by that system, right? So is it a data center network operation, program control, processing control, application control, right? So obviously it is the data center and the network operation control. Okay, which of the following procedure performed by CAF is suitable for satisfaction of the concern regarding the borrowing? Right? So whether all the borrowings, that is what they say, that all borrowings in the balance sheet are the valid claims. That is what the purpose of the audit procedure is. And what does it say? Okay, which of the procedure performed suitable for the satisfaction of the concern regarding the borrowing? Procedure 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, whether it's a valid claim, right? So one reviews subsequent transactions after the end of the reporting period. That is more for the existence, the completeness. Recompute the interest, right? So that's again more for the amount. Review the board minutes for the approval of the new lending agreement and agree the loan balance and the loan payable to the loan agreement. So again, this is more for the amount. But whether it is valid, for that you need to check the approval, right? So review the board minutes for the approval of the new lending arrangements, right? So that is procedure number 3. Right, so review the board minutes for the loan lending arrangement to check whether it is the valid claim. Okay, right. Then do you agree with all the ways suggested by CAZ to CAF regarding identifying the related party transaction? No. What we say, inventory records maintained by the entity. No, that suggestion is not right. So no, suggestion 3 is not correct. Okay, and CAF performed which of the following analytical procedure to obtain the evidence with respect to the overall reasonableness of purchase quantity and price of raw material? Right, so is it trend analysis, ratio analysis, stock composition analysis, or whether it is the consumption analysis? So what does it say over there? Raw material consumed, raw material consumed as per manufacturing account, and you compare the same with the previous year, right? So that is the consumption analysis, right? The consumption analysis. So when we study the theory question for the analytical procedure for purchases, these are the 4 analytical procedures over there. Okay, right, let's come to case scenario 3. G&H and Company Chartered Accountants have been appointed as the statutory branch auditor of Chandigarh branch of HFC Bank, a nationalized bank. While carrying out the audit, the following key issues were identified. Issue 1, consortium cash credit facility granted to X Limited. HFC Bank is a consortium member providing the cash credit facility of 50 crore to X Limited, with HFC share being 10 crore. Over the past 2 quarters, interest amounting to 1.75 crore has been debited in the cash credit account of the X Limited, while credit in the account only remains to 1.25 crore. Despite the shortfall, the account has been classified as a performing asset based on a certificate from the lead bank, UNC Bank Limited. No, so asset classification has to be based on record of recovery. Only a statement from the lead bank will not give the money in your pocket. Okay, right. And again, asset classification has to be based on individual record of recovery of each of the bank who is a part of the consortium loan. The lead bank has received the money, but if the co-bank has not received the share, co-bank you treat it as an NPA. Okay, right. As the classification of SJ Limited, SJ Limited account has seen no recovery for the past 18 months. However, the bank has not classified NPA, applied NPA norms or the income recognition norm to this account. The management justifies this by stating that the account is guaranteed by central government and that NPA and income recognition norms are not applicable. Government has not invoked the guarantee. So if it's the central government guaranteed advances, then the exemption is there only for the NPA norms. It is not there for the income recognition. Income recognition, for that purpose, it will be treated as an NPA. For asset classification purpose, it need not be treated as an NPA, even though if it is overdue for more than 18 months. Okay. Loan application from ABC Traders. ABC Traders has applied for a cash credit limit from HFC Bank for supporting working capital requirement on account of the business expansion. In discussion with ABC Traders, HFC Bank has requested different forms of security like assignment, pledge, set off, lien, hypothecation, depending on the nature of the asset offered, which includes property, warehouse, goods in stock, accounts receivable, insurance policy. Borrower provided the security and was sanctioned a cash credit limit of the 4.5 crore. Okay, right. Then after that, issue 4, Precision Engineering. One of the borrower of the branch has utilized the entire sanctioned cash credit limit of 300 lakh. Outstanding balance was 308 lakh. Bank classified the account as substandard. One fine day, DGM inspection of bank was passing through the area in which the borrower is located and observed that the building occupied by the borrower is damaged and there is no machinery, stock or other assets available in the premises. Borrower was not available telephonically and no contact could be made with him. He ordered independent verification of the asset and report was security mortgaged with the bank is available. Report has been accepted by the bank authority. Only a piece of land with realizable value of the 25 lakh is available as of now. So accounts where there is an erosion in the value of security, more than 90% erosion, straight away to be classified as loss asset. Okay. Bank made a provision in the books of account considering the account as substandard asset. Nahi chalega. It has to go under the loss asset. Okay, whether the asset classification of account of X Limited is correct regarding the consortium loan. Right? So they say they classified it as a performing asset based on the certificate from the lead bank. We don't want certificate, we want the money. Okay, classification is correctly done. Classification is correctly done. Classification is not in order as classification has to be done on the basis of record of recovery of the HFC bank only. So you say, ma'am, this one you've solved it in our style. We see done, not done, wonderful. That is the option. Right. So it is correctly done on the basis of certificate provided? No. It is correctly done subject to confirmation from CSA of the bank? Kuch bhi. Classification is correctly done subject to confirmation from CSA of the bank and the other parameters specified in the RBI guideline. Kisi ko bhi pakad ke dal diya. No. Classification is not in order. The bank's decision not to apply NPA and income recognition norms to the account of SJ Limited valid under the regulatory guideline. The bank is correct in the extent of not applying the NPA norms for provisioning purpose. However, this exemption is not available in respect of the income recognition norm. Okay, the bank is not correct for not applying the NPA norms for provisioning purpose, but this exemption is available for income recognition. Reverse they are writing. Okay, the bank is correct in not applying the NPA norms and the income recognition norm as both are not applicable. The bank is not correct in not applying the NPA norms and income recognition norms as both are applicable. No. What does it say? It's applicable only for the NPA classification but not applicable for the income recognition. So the bank is correct to the extent of not applying the NPA norms for provisioning purpose. For NPA classification purpose, provisioning purpose, it will be considered to be a standard asset, but for income recognition, it will be a NPA. It will be an NPA, right? So the correct option is A. Okay, ABC Traders offers its warehouse as a security for the loan. HFC Bank created a charge on the warehouse. Which form of security has been created? Right, so we say, no, we have the mortgage, pledge, hypothecation, assignment, set off and lien. So which form of security has been created, and whether the bank is required to get a stock audit done. When a stock audit required, whether stock value is more than 5 crore. Here the sanctioned cash credit limit is 4.5 crore. Okay, right. So now what type of security? Security created is pledge, mortgage, pledge, mortgage. So obviously it's not a pledge, it is the mortgage. So A and C out. Now it is a mortgage and bank is required to get stock audit done. It's a mortgage and bank is not mandatorily required to get the stock audit done of the cash credit account of ABC Traders. Yes, right. So D is the option. Whether correct classification and provisioning norms have been applied in the account of the precision engineering, right? It says the account, right? So precision engineering, what is the situation? Yeah, there is an erosion in the value of the security, right? So what does it say? The account is correctly classified, right? So what does it say? It has been classified as the substandard asset. So is it correctly classified? No, not correctly classified. It should have been classified as doubtful asset. It should have been classified as lost asset, and full provision should have been made in the books of account. It should have been classified as doubtful asset and full provision. No, so it should be classified as lost asset and the full provision should be made in the books of account. Okay, question number 13. Which of the following statements is correct about LLP? That means 3 statements are correct, 1 is not correct. Okay, right. So every LLP is required to maintain SOGP, right? The statement of cost of goods purchased, inventory, work in progress, finished goods, and COGS, right? That is the cost of goods sold. Okay, right. So if I look into the books of account to be maintained by an LLP, right? What does it say? Every LLP is required to keep the details of the statement of cost of goods purchased, inventory, work in progress, finished goods, and the cost of goods sold, right? So is the statement correct over here? Yes, the statement is correct. Okay, and LLP is considered to be a Chotu LLP, the turnover of which, as per the statement of accounts and solvency for the preceding year, does not exceed 40 lakh and the higher amount not exceeding the 50 crore. But there are 2 conditions over there, turnover as well as the contribution, right? So here they have only mentioned about the turnover, whereas actually, yes, so turnover 40 lakh and 50 crore, and it says the contribution should not exceed the 25 lakh or the 5 crore, right? So that is why when they've given the suggested answer for this, they've said that even B is incorrect. Why? Because the contribution part is not mentioned over there. But assuming that and making an assumption that even the contribution is also within the limit, we can consider this to be correct. No, but in the exam, even though if you've written B as the answer or C as the answer, in both cases they've allotted the marks. Okay. Every LLP would be required to file annual return, ANN, NN11, right? So NN1, so form 11 with ROC. Okay, so every LLP is required to file the annual return with the annual return, right, in the form 11 with the ROC within 60 days of the closure of the financial year. Here what it is given within 30 days, right? So this is certainly incorrect. And the auditor may be appointed by the designated partners of the LLP at any time for the first financial year, but before the end of the first financial year. Okay, so let us look into the appointment at any time for the first financial year, but before the end of the first financial year. At least now are you guys waking up from your sleep and seeing, oh my God, writing a theory answer better, but for the MCQ, look at the level of the micro reading and the preparation required for the exams. Are you listening to me? है ना? मुझे तो लगता है कि यार इंटर के बच्चों पे मैंने भी ज्यादा फोकस करना चाहिए. तो वो उनको लगता है कि अरे अभी मैं ये सब कैसे हिंदी में बताऊं, हाँ ये इधर उधर की बातें मैं हिंदी में कर लूं, बट ठीक है यार तुम्हें इतनी तो इंग्लिश आती है ना, दैट मच है ना, सो नो प्रॉब्लम, बट या इज द वीडियो beneficial for you, that is what I want to know. Okay, right, so what we say, correct, so this is incorrect. And also if you mark B as incorrect because the contribution condition also has to be satisfied, then even in that case they've given the marks. Okay, in case of any intangible asset is not in active use by the entity, so you have to discard it. The auditor should check whether, so checking the completeness of the intangible asset, addition, deletion. The deletion with respect to the intangible asset has been recorded in the books of account post approval of entity management, yes. Amortization charge has ceased beyond the date of deletion, yes. Deletion with respect to the intangible asset has been recorded in the books of account post approval by the entity management, and amortization will be continued. Asa kasa हे नहीं शक्य, amortization cannot be continued. Deletion with respect to intangible asset has been recorded in the books of account post approval by entity management, and the amortization charge has ceased beyond the date of deletion. So marriage of point A and B is point D, right? So we select point D. And question number 15, management of ECX Systems Limited acknowledge that going concern assumption of say 5670 will not be suitable while preparing financial statements, and informs the auditor that the fact of the uncertainty related to going concern would suitably be disclosed in the notes to account. How should the auditor address this while preparing the independent auditor's report, MUGC, material uncertainty related to going concern paragraph? Okay, so to include a separate section under MUGC in the audit report as per 570, to include a separate section under CAM in the audit report as per 701, to include a section MUGC under a separate section of key audit matter in the audit report as per 705. Hi. Okay, to include a separate section under the heading key audit matter in the audit report as per 570. What a wrong combination. No. So straightforward. Include a separate section under the heading MUGC in the audit report as per the requirement of the ASSE 570, which is going concern. Okay, right. So that's the discussion of the MCQs in the suggested for the Jan 25 for the inter audit, right? So yeah, around half an hour, 26 minutes or so we took for discussing these 15 MCQs over here. But yeah, certainly, when you are seeing it and when there's a confusion, so approximately around 40 minutes of the time in the exam should be given for the 40 to 45 minutes, nothing more than 45 minutes. But yeah, on an average 40 minutes for solving the MCQ part of the paper. And again, should I do MCQ first or should I do theory first? As per me, this is my own independent opinion that you should always do the MCQ first. Always. Okay. And if you find this particular video to be beneficial, really giving you some charge or spark in your preparation for CA inter audit, right? So I request you kindly to like, share and subscribe to the Aarti Lahoti Audit Learning YouTube channel, and pass on this video to as many students as possible. That would be a really great gesture from your side, right? So looking forward to see you in the next video, and certainly looking forward to see you very soon at CA final. Bye bye and all the best.